A pleasant good evening to you watching and listening on YouTube, the home for USPBL baseball. Thanks for taking the time to tune in to another exciting broadcast of the United Shore Professional Baseball League. My name is Stephen Book, and I am joined by my longtime friend and mentor, Jeffrey Webster, in the booth here at beautiful Jimmy John's Field in historic Utica, Michigan. Tonight we have an intriguing matchup between the first place Utica Unicorns and the fourth place Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Jeff, what are your thoughts about tonight's matchup?
Well, we're heading into playoff time, Stephen, so it's an important game for Utica because every team makes the playoffs, but if you're Utica and you're in first place, you make it directly to the championship game. From an Eastside perspective, you're trying to get yourself ready and make sure you're tuning yourself so you're ready for the playoffs. They've struggled a bit this season record-wise, and as of right now, they're going to have to win 3 games to be able to win that championship.
It is Thirsty Thursday here at Jimmy John's Field. It's also Irish Heritage Night presented by Guinness, Thirsty Thursday presented by Dave & Buster's. And tonight's contest between these Hoppers and the Unicorns kicks off the regular season finale weekend before we get into the playoffs. We've got games Friday, Saturday, Sunday, September 6th through 8th here at Jimmy John's Field for championship weekend. A lot on the line. How's the seeding going to end up? It all comes down to this week's slate of games with the Unicorns, the Hoppers, the Mammoths, and the Beavers. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with more pregame analysis in just a minute.
Okay.
And we're back here live from Jimmy John's Field. Tonight's starting pitchers for the Utica Unicorns, Donald Goodson. And for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, we've got Zane Collins on the mound. Jeff, what do you think about these two pitchers tonight?
Collins is coming off a strong start where he threw 7 innings and struck out 9. He does rely heavily on the fastball, but if that fastball is moving, it is hard to touch. He has only allowed 1 hit over his last 10 innings, but he does struggle with walks quite a bit. For Utica, Donald Goodson actually was a reliever and turned starter. His last start against Eastside was a no decision. He threw 6 innings, only allowed 1 earned run, walked 5, and struck out 4. He has really improved his mechanics, and his fastball is up to 96 miles an hour. He is actually a Detroit native and from Wayne State. He was an outfielder, and he's really putting it together this year, which is good for the Unicorns at this time.
Absolutely. We saw these same two teams face off against one another last Friday night in front of a packed crowd here at Jimmy John's Field. It took some fantastic late-inning heroics by the Unicorns. They overcame a 2-0 deficit going into the 8th inning, and the Unicorns ended up winning 4-2. We're getting ready for baseball here in Utica. We're about ready for the national anthem, but we're going to go over the starting lineups here before we get into tonight's anthem. For the away Utica Unicorns, batting first, Cole Curry. Batting second, Jimmy Latona, and catching. Batting third, Dan Elliott, playing left field. Batting fourth, Ashton Bardzell, and playing right field. Batting fifth, and playing first base, right out. Batting 6th and DHing, Kyle Orloff. Batting 7th for the Unicorns, Adam De La Cruz. Batting 8th, we've got Bo Nicky. Batting 9th, we've got Malik Blaze. And like we said earlier on the mound, we've got Donald Goodson. Jeff, you want to take us through the starters for the Diamond Hoppers?
Sure thing. Batting first and playing left field, we have Adams. Batting second, playing shortstop, is Geely. Batting third is Mihalik. Batting fourth is Luke Johnson, who had a pretty big game kind of last few weeks. Batting fifth is Zach Gray. He's playing first base. Batting sixth is Cole Perry. He'll be playing third base. Batting seventh, playing center field, is Sean Guida. Batting eighth and playing second base is Brant Broussard. Batting ninth and playing catcher is Bradley Hamilton. And once again, pitching for the Diamond Hoppers is Zane Collins.
Excellent. It's an overcast sky here in Utica. There was a threat of storms, but I think we're going to get some wonderful 9-inning baseball in tonight. The storms look like they're going to push off till overnight, but it is overcast, and it is 78 degrees here in Utica. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for baseball tonight, heading into a very important game when it comes down to seeding for next week's championship weekend. We're going to take a quick break here as we get into the national anthem, and then let's play some baseball. What do you think, Jeff?
Game on.
We'll talk to you soon.
We should tell him. Sure.
We just heard the Irish national anthem, followed by the American national anthem here on Irish Heritage Night, presented by Guinness. It's also Thirsty Thursday, presented by Dave & Buster's, as the fans start to filter in here to beautiful Jimmy John's Stadium. And Jeff, one of the things that sticks out about every time I come down to this park is just how family-friendly it is. But, you know, when you get Thirsty Thursday, the beers start flowing, I think we might be seeing a little bit more of a rowdy crowd tonight.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, the Guinness does go down smooth.
And we're going to be seeing the Eastside Diamond Hoppers in the field first, the home team. Unicorns will bat first as the away squad. The Unicorns come in at 26-21 on the season so far. The Woolly Mammoths are in second place here in the USPBL. They're also at 26 wins and 21 losses. The Beavers are at 23 wins and 21 losses. And like I said earlier, the Diamond Hoppers are in fourth place with 16 wins and 28 losses. But remember, Jeff, every one of these teams makes the playoffs next week.
That's right, Stephen. And these few games now are all about position and how many games you have to play to win that championship.
Absolutely. I just heard the best words in baseball being spoke by a young fan here in Utica. Play ball. So that means we're ready for some baseball. Batting first for Utica, the center fielder, Coley Curry. Curry's a left-handed hitter from Jackson, Tennessee. Went to college at West Kentucky University. Tonight's first pitch at 7:05. Fastball that Curry fouls off down the first baseline.
Stephen, he's probably one of the most consistent players in the USPBL this year. He's also probably arguably the best defensive glove.
Second pitch of tonight's game is low and away for ball one. 1-1 in Curry. Here comes the payoff pitch. It's in there, just a little high. Ball two.
Ball had some nice movement on it.
Absolutely. Curry, one of the few unicorns who's been awarded the Player of the Week in the league back in Week 8. He's a lefty with good speed. He just looked at ball number 3. 3-1. Check that. That was called a strike. 2-2. There's a soft little dribbler to second base. Throw to first. And the Diamond Hoppers get the first out. Down goes Curry for the first out of the game. Batting second for the Unicorns, Jimmy Latona. Latona is the catcher tonight. Latona looks at the first pitch. It's in there. Fastball for a strike.
Steve Latona had quite the showing at the Home Run Derby, hitting 24 home runs.
Wow. He's got a little pep in his bat. Swings at the second pitch, fouls it down the left field line. That's a quick 0-2 count. Now Zane Collins pitching for the Diamond Hoppers. He is a lefty. Southpaw looks in, fires the 0-2 pitch. It's a ball inside, 1-2. Latona's batting .247 on the year, 7 home runs, 20 runs batted in. The 1-2. Low and inside, ball goes in the dirt. Zane Collins from Wright State University, 6'2", 220-pound left-hander. He looks in. The 2-2. Off-speed pitch. Fouled off. And Latona stays alive. We'll do this again at 2-2. The 2-2 pitch fouled off down the third base line. Like I mentioned earlier, Zane Collins comes from Wright State University. He's allowed 1 hit over the last 10 innings, including a 5-inning no-hitter. His constant struggle, though, has been his walks this season. As right on cue, he throws the ball outside. 3-2, full count against Jimmy Latona. Latona, the right-hand batter, stands pretty high in the box. He looks at ball 4. We've got our first base runner tonight, Jeff.
That's right. That was a good at-bat by Latona. He saw a lot of pitches there.
You know, one of the things that I love about this stadium is just the access the fans have. You know, walking through the concourse before the game, you see the players walking around shaking hands. You see the managers walking around shaking hands. And it's just such a great feeling here as people start to settle into their seats here on Irish Heritage Night. There's a ball roped here on the first pitch to Dan Elliott, the third batter for the Utica Unicorns, and we've got our first hit of the ball game. A single to right field from number 21, Dan Elliott. We've got runners on first and second now for the cleanup hitter. Batting fourth, number 2, Ashton Bardzell. He's batting .302. So far in the campaign for the Unicorns. Runners on first and second. Collins fires in. Actually, that was an off-speed pitch.
That was.
Ball 1. Bardzell stands straight up in the box. He's a right-handed batter. The lefty Collins delivers, and there's a single. Here come the Unicorns. They're going to send him home. Throw at the plate is not in time. The catcher for the Diamond Hoppers dropped the ball, and that will be a run for the Unicorns here early in the top of the first. It's Unicorns 1, Diamond Hoppers 0.
That was a nice throw out of left field. One hop. Catcher just kind of got tied up a little bit there.
Yeah, it was a really great throw there. The left fielder, who's that? Pat Adams out there with the bullet. Hamilton just couldn't handle it behind the plate. That brings up Unicorns number 10, Colin Ridout. Ridout batting .308, 1 home run, 23 RBIs. Ridout to lefty. He looks at first pitch is in there for strike number 1. Runners on first and second. The 0-1 pitch. Ridout looks at strike number 2.
Steven, that was a nice placement on that pitch. That is going to be a hard pitch to hit no matter who you are.
That's absolutely true. Collins from the stretch. He fires. And number 10, Ridout drills this one into center field. Once again, we're going to have a play at the plate here, and it is not in time. Another run for the Unicorns. And that'll make it 2-0 here in the top of the first. The Unicorns came out swinging tonight, Jeff.
They have. They are playing like it means something. Oh, wait, it does.
Wait a second. It does mean something. And it stays runners on first and second.
That was another nice throw there from the outfield. Just barely beating it out.
Absolutely.
Is Elliott.
And Elliott didn't even slide. He came in standing up. A ballsy move.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some times where that's actually a better play.
Absolutely.
He's able to jump out of the way and avoid the tag.
Batting sixth tonight for the Unicorns, number 15, Kyle Orloff. He looks at an off-speed pitch, up and away for ball number 1. 1-0 on Orloff, batting .286. No power, no home runs yet this year, but 6 RBIs. Orloff looks at ball number 2, up and in a little bit, fastball. Orloff, the Cincinnati, Ohio native.
Nice area.
Absolutely. I wonder if he likes his Skyline chili. I'm more of a Skyline guy than a Gold Star guy myself. Some people don't like it. I'm a big fan. Orloff looks at ball number 3 in the dirt. 3-0 on Kyle Orloff. 1 down. Runners on first and second. 2-0 Unicorns. We're in the top of the first. Collins has been, fairly consistent with strikes up until this batter, but the Unicorns have been smoking the ball.
Oh, and they've shown a really good eye and have been very patient so far, so they're making Collins throw a lot of pitches.
Orloff is swinging on 3-0 in the top of the first. An aggressive move.
Don't see that every day. Honestly, are you going to see a better pitch than you are at 3-0?
That's true.
You got to get a strike across.
With a game that means this much, though, you want to get as many base runners on here to start off the game as possible. But true. Orloff's aggressive. Give him credit. Orloff has started in 9 games this season. He's got a high average, like I said earlier, at 286. He's really improved. He's taken positive steps. He's going to continue to do so. He offers versatility with a little power to all fields. Like I said, no home runs yet, but he has shown some signs of some power. We've got a slow roller over to the third baseman. Throws over to second for 1. Relay to first. That's 2 for the Hoppers, and that'll get him out of this inning. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice double play turn from the third baseman over to second baseman and flips over to first and gets him just in time. And the Diamond Hoppers will be coming up trying to avenge the 2-0 deficit. We'll be back after this. And we're back here from Utica, Jimmy John's Field. The Unicorns put 2 up in the top of the first. The Diamond Hoppers trying to respond here in the bottom. The first batter to try to get some redemption here is the left fielder, number 19, Pat Adams. Adams batting .322. His first pitch that he sees is low and outside in the dirt for ball number 1.
Stephen Adams is a Detroit area native from Warren, Michigan. He played his high school baseball at De La Salle and moved on to Wayne State.
Shout out to my brother-in-law, a De La Salle grad. Second pitch is high and outside, 2-0. On the mound for the Unicorns tonight is Donald Goodson, also a guy from Michigan. Adams hits a ball fairly deep to left to the warning track, caught there for out number 1. But he showed a little bit of power. Now, Jeff, we saw the weather factor in there quite a bit as that ball carried. It didn't have a whole lot of oomph off the bat, but it just kept on going. The flag out in center is blowing straight out to center now, but when he was batting, it was gusting to left.
Yep, that wind has been a steady out of this ballpark all game so far.
Absolutely.
That will probably play a factor.
Batting second and showing bunt here on the first pitch, pulling it away for ball number 1 is number 44. This is Freddie Geely. He's batting .273 on the campaign. He's swinging at the second pitch. Grounder over to second, flip over to first, and the Unicorns have 2 very quick outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Like I was saying earlier, Goodson is a Michigan native. He's from Detroit. Previously pitched for Northeastern Junior College. So far in the USPBL, last year he pitched 8 games through 10 2/3 innings, 10.97 ERA. But he's improved his mechanics, and he's been able to get the ball up to 96 miles per hour with a fastball. And wow, I can hardly get anything out here before the Diamond Hoppers are swinging away, as this one by Riley Mihalik is drilled out to left field, caught for the 3rd out. And that's a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Diamond Hoppers. But we did see the weather take a factor.
A bit. That was a 10-pitch inning, though. And we know the Hoppers have been struggling with their offense. Maybe a little more patience next time around.
Absolutely. We'll be back with more baseball here on YouTube, the home for the USPBL. And we're back for some more baseball here at Jimmy John's Field. If you're just joining us, the top of the first was pretty exciting for the Unicorns, who came out swinging, and they put up a 2 spot in the top of the first. And speaking of swinging, the Diamond Hoppers also were swinging, but they were finding the gloves of the Unicorns as we had a 1-2-3 inning. Leading off for the Unicorns, number 12, Adam De La Cruz. The first pitch he saw was a strike right down Hall Road. Second pitch just missed. That was an off-speed pitch here by Zane.
Stephen, De La Cruz is a newcomer in the USPBL. He just started last week. His first game, though, he was player of the game with a go-ahead RBI single. He is making a name for himself already with some pretty clutch hitting.
De La Cruz, originally from the Bronx, New York, played his baseball at Southeastern University as he fouls off this pitch and evens up the count at 2-2. Collins still on the mound for the Diamond Hoppers. The 2-2 pitch jammed him inside. De La Cruz is able to foul it off down the third baseline. The count will stay at 2-2.
Looked like a good play by JJ, the field general down there, Stephen, on that foul ball.
You know, we got a chance to meet JJ before the game. Very friendly.
That is an understatement.
It is.
Very friendly.
De La Cruz swings and misses at the payoff pitch there. That was an off-speed pitch. For strike 3, and the first strikeout for Zane Collins. One down.
You know, Stephen, even though the Hoppers were swinging, they were getting the ball up in the air, and I think that wind is going to make a difference tonight.
Absolutely. If that gets elevated in that jet stream, especially out to left, if you look at the flags out in left field, they are whipping around right now. And with the overcast skies, I'm not so sure that weather forecast we gave before the game is significantly accurate. Bonicki's up now, number 9, Kyle Bonicki. He's batting .200, 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in so far in this campaign. He's a left-hander. Bonicki's originally from Waterbury, Connecticut, played at Clark University in Massachusetts. The 0-2 on the way from Zane Collins, fouled off by Bonicki.
Stephen, not to tout my own horn here, being a science teacher, though, I do know some things about weather, and these look like the beginnings of some storm clouds. We know that there's some isolated showers out there. I'm hoping maybe they stay isolated away from here.
Meteorologist Jeff Webster on the call. The 1-2 pitch, that's in fair territory. A grounder over to first base. Number 3 for the Diamond Hoppers takes it himself. 4 out, number 2.
I'm just channeling my inner Ben Bailey tonight.
We've got Malik Blaze coming up next in the 9th spot for the Utica Unicorns, the right-hander. Blaze took the spot off of former Unicorn, now Minnesota Twin Adrian Guzman, who recently was signed with the Twinkies. Almost a nice barehanded grab by the third base coach for the Unicorns as Blaze fouled it off down the third base line.
Stephen, speaking of the Minnesota Twins, I just got an alert that former USPBL pitcher and first USPBL player to actually make it to a Major League team recorded his first career save today, a 3-inning save against the White Sox.
Randy Dobnak, first person to ever make it to the big leagues. Jeff, you've got to believe that this is going to be a huge boost in advertising for the league.
Definitely. I remember when the first season when Andy Appleby said, if we just get one player, we have been successful. And they have 36 now who have signed with Major League teams. 36
is really an incredible number. 9 just this season, I believe, which is a season record for the league. And Dobnak is coming to town. The Minnesota Twins play here against the Detroit Tigers at Comerica Park coming up next week. Be interesting to see if we get a big USPBL following out there in beautiful Comerica Park. It's 2-2 on Blaze. He's batting .121, no home runs yet, 1 RBI, 4 hits so far in his short stint with the league. He fouls it off. This one's got a great chance of making it onto Hall Road. Look out if you're driving by.
I'm listening for glass. I think a lucky fan on his way home from Dave & Buster's might have caught that one.
What a souvenir for that youngster. The left-hander delivers here for the Diamond Hoppers. That is a ball low and away, gets away from the catcher. That's ball 3. We've got a full count against the number 9 hitter, Malik Blaze. Now, Collins has struggled with control. It's something that he has been working on all season long. And we talked to Paul Nochi, the manager for the Diamond Hoppers, before the game. And one of the big things that Nochi mentioned was just how big of a learning curve and how this is a teaching league. And we mentioned that both Jeff and I are teachers, and that was awesome to hear. As we see Blaze go down on strikes, we'll talk a little bit more about what we heard from Nochi coming up after this. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube, and we'll see you in the bottom of the second. Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, where it has begun to rain, despite all the reports that said it was going to wait till overnight. Leading off for the Diamond Hoppers here in the bottom of the second is Luke Johnson, number 5.
Stephen, I'd just like to apologize to all the fans at the game right now when I said that it looked like rain was coming and pretty much invited it. My bad.
There's a foul ball up our way.
Thank goodness for nets.
Absolutely. Quickly, it's 1-1 on Luke Johnson. Now, Jeff and I don't have the best track record when it comes to weather. We've done quite a few baseball road trips around the country together, and this sky reminds me a little bit of a Southern Illinois sky on our way to Kansas City to see the Royals play, when I believe we saw the cast from Wizard of Oz floating nearby and a couple cows fly by our window.
When you're driving down the expressway at 75 miles an hour and the sky is green and you're being passed by the National Guard and storm spotters, maybe it's time to pull over.
But we made it. And we did get to assist with some of the National Guard. No, I'm just kidding. The tornado never touched down. But we would have. We would have
been there.
2-2 on Johnson.
After we came out of the ditch where we were, crying.
Absolutely.
We totally would have helped.
That ball is low and away. 3-2. The count is full.
We have not had the best luck when it comes to weather.
But we do have the best luck when it comes to this job, sitting here high above Jimmy John's Field as Johnson looks at ball number 4, and he will be the first base runner for the Diamond Hoppers tonight with a leadoff walk.
Johnson's had a good couple of weeks. He made an appearance as the number 2 play on SportsCenter, stealing a home run, and he had a couple of one go-ahead home run at a critical point, as well as a walk-off winner.
We talked to Johnson before the game, and what a really nice young man. He's had some amazing things to say about this league, what it's done for him, about his host family and the host family community, as well as just the Utica community in general. Next up for the Diamond Hoppers, though, is number 20. That's Zachary Gray, batting .280 with 2 home runs, 25 runs batted in. His first pitch, he fouled off right behind us for strike 1. Then he looked at strike 2 right down Hall Road.
Goodson's throwing strikes.
Goodson looks confident up there. He's pitching from the stretch here as he mows down Gray with a nasty off-speed pitch low and away. And Gray bit. I think I would have too. That looked pretty good off the hand, and with that rotation, just sunk.
Steve, would you call that a yellowhammer?
I think you may. Sorry about the technical difficulties here. We're just getting used to how to get the balls and strikes and the outs and the innings and all that broadcast live to you guys there on YouTube.
Yeah,
We're learning.
I'm not really a multitasker. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Goodson throws over to first.
I can walk and chew bubblegum. That's about the extent of it.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
Johnson back in time. Number 23, Cole Perry up next for the Diamond Hoppers, right-hander. Batting .286. He looks at a ball just a little bit inside. 1-0. One down here in the bottom of the second. The Diamond Hoppers had a quick first inning, but they did put the bat on the ball. Ooh, look out. Perry backs away. Goodson hoping to own that high and tight corner there. Perry takes the helmet off, shakes it off a little bit.
That was a little higher and tighter than maybe you'd want.
Yeah.
Shave and a haircut.
You know, with a few raindrops falling, maybe the ball's a little damp. Goodson fires from the stretch, fastball. This one's drilled over to third base. Third baseman flips over to second, over to first, and we've got our second double play of the night. This time it's the Unicorns' turn. 2 for the price of 1. We've played 2 from Jimmy John's Field, where it is the Utica Unicorns 2 and the Diamond Hoppers 0. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us so far live on YouTube, the home for the USPBL. And we're back here for the top of the third inning, where the Unicorns come to bat with the top of the order coming up. Coley Curry. Jeff, how did he fare back in the top of the first?
Curry is 0 for 1. He hit a routine ground ball to the second baseman, Brant Broussard, in the first inning.
Now this lefty Curry with good speed, he led his Western Kentucky University team with 24 walks. He ranked third on the club with a .311 batting average. That's pretty good, .311. The first pitch here to start the third inning is a ball. 1-0 against Curry. Second pitch low and inside, ball 2.
Collins is mainly a fastball pitcher, and he will throw a changeup in there every now and again.
The 2-0 pitch is flown out to straightaway center field. Some good communication by the Diamond Hoppers as the left fielder turns it over to the center fielder who makes the catch for out number 1.
So, I was going to say, you can be a fastball pitcher. The key is having some movement on the ball.
Absolutely.
You don't have to throw some crazy curveballs. My dad always told me when I pitched when I was playing Little League, it really came down to how you held the ball. I was able to throw the ball, pretty heavy ball, but it would have a lot of movement on it depending on how many seams I was holding at that point in time.
Absolutely. And, as we see ball number 1 come in here, it is amazing how you can pick up the ball so well from high atop Jimmy John's Field. We got a great perspective here, beautiful ballpark. But coming out of the pitcher's hand, it's very clear what we're seeing out of these guys, and they don't have a plethora of pitches. I think Collins throws 1 off speed, maybe 2, and a four-seam fastball. As Jimmy Latona hits it down to shortstop. A great play by the shortstop, just off on the throw. But a beautiful job at getting down and taking that ball into the glove.
That was a nice play by Geely over short. He just wasn't quite settled when he made that throw, and it was pretty wide.
That'll be a rule to hit, as it was a tough ball to get to. The 4th hit of the game for the Unicorns.
Looks like, Stephen, they may have just changed that over to an error on the throw.
Looks like it'll be a hit, and an error moves the runner up to second base for those of you scoring at home here on the YouTube USPBL broadcast. Next up for the Unicorns, number 21, Dan Elliott. He's batting third tonight. The lefty for the Diamond Hoppers throws an off-speed pitch in there. Elliott bites, swing, and he misses for strike number 1.
It's one of those pitches that has some nice movement on it. If you're a mainly fastball pitcher, it's nice to be able to throw that in there sometimes. Really get hitters on their heels.
Absolutely. Collins throws on the 0-1 pitch, and it's fouled off by Dan Elliott. Quickly 0-2.
Dan is a college teammate of Jimmy Latona, who's currently standing there in second. It's got to be cool to be able to move on in your professional career with a teammate from college and a guy that you probably know pretty well.
Absolutely. Let's see if he can drive him in here with one swing of the bat. The 0-2 pitch by Collins for the Diamond Hoppers into Elliott for the Unicorns. He bounces it in there. Look out. Oh! We see the runner there advance. That is Latona advancing there on the, I assume, wild pitch. We'll have to get official glimpse here from the scoring department next door.
That was a heads-up play by Latona over there in a second. I mean, that ball did not get past the catcher. The catcher did a nice job blocking in front of him, which is what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Latona with a heads-up play to move on to third.
He had a big lead coming off a second, and he was 100% committed to that base. It's 1-2, 1 out. Check that, 2-2 now with 1 down. Elliott is 1 for 1 tonight. He had a single back in the top of the first. Looking to add a single here and maybe get a ribby for the away team, the Utica Unicorns. What an eye as the catcher for the Diamond Hoppers, number 25, tries to frame that one in there, but is just a little bit outside. And it is now 3-2. Full count on Dan Elliott. 1 down. Runner on third. Another one bounces in there. Latona stares down the catcher, but he won't advance here. And we've got a walk. Elliott will take first base. Runners on the corners as the Unicorns threaten once again here in the third inning. Two ducks in the pond here for the Unicorns. As we go to the cleanup batter, number 2, Ashton Bardzell. Bardzell 1 for 1 with a single and an RBI already in this campaign, moving his average up to 302 on the season. Upright stance for the right-hander. The pitcher Collins looks in from the stretch and delivers. Another one gets away from the catcher, but it's right underneath the umpire. That'll advance Elliott over to second. We've got runners on second and third. 2 runners in scoring position now for the cleanup batter. Let's see if Ashton Bardzell can clean him up, as he did in the first inning with the RBI single. Short trip to the mound.
What do you think they're talking about there, Steven?
Well, Hamilton and Collins, They've been together. This is the end of the season. Just settle them down. A couple balls in the dirt over the last couple of batters. Also, with 2 on here, you want to make sure you got your signals the right way with a runner on second looking in there. So as we see a ball fouled our way, it's going to stay in play, though. First baseman for the Diamond Hoppers takes care of that one. Number 3, that's Mihalik, made the put out there for the second out of the inning. But remember, runners on second and third for the Unicorns, and that'll leave it up to number 10. Right out, the first baseman, to see if he can drive him in.
Base hit will open this game up.
Absolutely. Now, Rideout's got a real open stance. Reminds me a little bit of Gary Sheffield without quite the physical toll. And look out, we've got another pitch down in the dirt, gets away, and we've got another run in for the Unicorns. Man, it seems like Collins is just a little bit of a funk. He's just missing low and inside, low and outside. Everything's hitting just before the plate. Maybe we're going to see another mound visit here to settle him down, but it's been all inning long as we see another run come in, and the runners advance to third base here. 3-0 Utica. Same spot.
A lot of pitches in the dirt. Maybe gripping the ball too hard. He's just kind of aiming it in there and needs to really just rear back and throw it.
We've been talking about it since the top of the broadcast. His constant struggle with Zane Collins has been his walks, and we're seeing the effects of that so far in this inning. And you hate to see that early on. If you're going to get some runs, you want to make sure that the team's going to earn them. Now the Unicorns will take it, as this game means a lot more to them for seeding into next week's championship weekend right here from Jimmy John's Field. We'll talk more about that on this broadcast.
There's a strike.
The 3-0 pitch in there for strike number 1. 3-1, 2 outs. Colin Rideout, 1 for 1. He singled back in the first, and he also has an RBI in this game. That one is in there for strike number 2. Rideout was looking all the way. Full count, 3-2, 2 outs. The runner on third is Elliott, number 21, the left fielder for the Unicorns. The full count pitch, off-speed pitch, grounded softly to first base, and the first baseman takes it himself for the third and final out. Mihalik makes a nice play by himself, and Collins gets out of the inning with very little damage, as the Unicorns only put one more across the plate. We'll see in the bottom of the third, the Diamond Hoppers coming up, trailing 3-0.
It's a little frantic, but it's kind of fun.
Welcome back to Jimmy John Stadium as we go into the bottom of the third. Diamond Hoppers' chance to try to get some runs across and maybe do some damage here against Goodson, the starter for the Unicorns. First pitch is swung on by Sean Guida. Grounder to shortstop, throw to first, and they got him for the first out.
Stephen, I'm going to take a quick second to make a shout out to a Unicorns fan and a Hoppers fan. I have a bit of a house divided tonight as my son Jonathan is a big Hoppers fan, or as we like to call them, the Frogs. And my daughter, Madeline, is insane when it comes to Unicorns. She's pretty happy right now.
Special hello to Jonathan and Madeline. Next up, we've got Brant Broussard for the Diamond Hoppers. He looks at the first pitch, is in there for strike number 1. Broussard, the righty, out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A town that is dominated by, obviously, Louisiana State University, and that's where Broussard played his college ball. Last year with the LSU Tigers, he batted .255 with 42 hits, 4 doubles, a triple, a home run, 20 runs batted in. Jeff, I don't know if you got a chance to see that video that was going viral on Twitter, but as we get into football season, I believe college football season kicks off tonight with some action on Thursday night, but there was a video of the LSU Tiger locker room. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. All I got to say is if I could go back and do it all again, I would play a lot more football, and I would get heavily recruited by the Tigers because they had quite the setup. Broussard goes down on strikes there for the second out of the inning. Every player had their own little nap station with their own little TV in front of their locker.
What I would not give for a nap station.
The locker rooms are beautiful here at USPBL, but we'll have to talk to the owner and CEO, Andy, about putting in a nap station for the teams.
Yes.
For the upcoming season. First pitch to Bradley Hamilton was a strike. Second pitch also in there. 0-2 on Bradley Hamilton. Hamilton, number 25, he's catching tonight. Right-hander fouls off the 0-2 pitch, stays alive here with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Hamilton is in Avon Lake Prospect, Avon Lake, Ohio. He played at Kent State University from 2015 to 2018 as he looks at ball number 1, up and in on him.
Goodson looks like he has really stepped up. He's delivering quite quickly, moving along.
Absolutely.
And it seems to be working for him.
The 1-2 pitch is fouled away.
That one looked like it might have ended up at Henry Ford II High School.
Henry Ford II High School is, of course, where Jeff teaches science.
I am impartial.
Wow, we got a battle here. Hamilton fouls off the 1-2 pitch once again. This one against the netting. Somewhere behind home plate. Hamilton was a second-team All-American over at Kent State. He batted .272 with 9 home runs during his senior campaign. So he's got some pop in that bat. Hasn't shown it yet here in the USPBL. No home runs yet. Struggled at the plate a little bit. 147 is the average on the season so far for the 9-hitter for the Diamond Hoppers. The 1-2 pitch once again on the way. And we've got a little dribbler over to the second baseman for the Unicorns. That is Bonicki. Throws over to first to ride out for the third and final out of the third inning. That'll do it for the third. We'll see you in the top of the fourth. To all those watching and listening live on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. And as Kyle Orloff's walk-in music pipes through the loudspeakers here at Jimmy John's Field, we're back for the top of the fourth here on Irish Heritage Night, sponsored by Guinness. Orloff looks at the first pitch, low and outside for ball number 1. Jeff, we've had some great entertainment between innings and before the game, speaking of Irish Heritage Night.
We have had 2 different Irish Dance Academies.
Oh, hang on. Sorry to cut you off, but this is a
Too
poke
high.
deep to left field. And out of here, a leadoff home run for number 15, Kyle Orloff. His first of the year. And like we said, that ball carries out to left with this stiff wind. Orloff trots around the bases, and that's another run for the Utica Unicorns. It's now 4-0. Wow.
Well,
that ball got out of here in a hurry. I wasn't sure the way the left fielder reacted at first. If it had a chance, he jumped. It was just over the outstretched glove. And as Adam De La Cruz steps in and pops up the first pitch he sees over to the second baseman, we have our first out of the inning.
Stephen, he hit that ball hard. I think the breeze helped, but it was going to be, I think it got it the extra 5 feet to put it over the fence rather than a play at the fence.
And Orloff, speaking of Orloff, the man who hit the home run there 2 batters ago, Orloff not known for his power here so far this year, but he is known for his power previously. In 2019 and 50 games, he did have 9 home runs. So he does have power to all fields, and he showed it with some tremendous pop to left there. Next up, though, we've got Kyle Bonicki. He's got 1 ball and 1 strike on Bonicki. The 1-1 pitch in there on the outside corner for strike number 2. That's a fastball from Zane Collins. Collins, the lefty, looking in at Bonicki, the lefty. Southpaw on southpaw. Ball low and away. Speaking of southpaws, we're joined in the booth by one of my favorite lefties, Dan Zeck. Shout out to the Albion Brits and his beautiful wife, Jenna. The 2-2 pitch on the way with 1 out. Ball is smoked down the first baseline. What a beautiful snag by the first baseman. And he throws back to the pitcher. That is a beautiful play by Mihalik, and the umps called him out at first. It was a bang-bang play, and we might be seeing that one on SportsCenter tomorrow. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. 2 outs. What a brilliant play.
That was excitement all around. I mean, that was a great stab by the first baseman, and the head-first slide in the first, which I don't often, advocate for.
It'll keep the Tide Cleaners on Van Dyke busy with the white uniforms. Ball 1 to Malik Blaze, the 9-hitter for the Unicorns. He looks at a fastball up, ball number 2. Blaze is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. The 2-0 pitch is just off the plate, low and inside. Ball 3 on Blaze. 3-0 pitch. 2 down here for the Diamond Hoppers. Facing the Unicorns as we see our first strike of the at-bat. 3-1 on the 9-hitter Malik Blaze. That ball is up and in, and Blaze will take first base. A lot of excitement in this inning, Jeff. We see a home run and a web gem by the first baseman, Mihalik.
Yep. And JJ is doing a nice job clearing those bats out of the way.
That is a good boy. Mm-hmm. JJ is, of course, the dog here who retrieves bats at Jimmy John's Field.
I do actually know Dan from a fall softball league that we just don't talk about anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Softball days are behind me, and Jeff will stick to broadcasting tonight. And the way this is going, maybe only tonight.
Maybe tonight only.
First ball of the at-bat against Curry was bounced in there for ball number 1. The leadoff batter, Curry, is 0 for 2 on tonight's campaign so far. But he's got Blaze on first in front of him here with 2 outs. Let's see if he can do some damage in this 4-0 affair for the Unicorns. Looking all the way, that's a 83-mile-per-hour pitch right down Hall Road, I thought, from here, but maybe. Oh, yeah, that's a strike. We're good. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Curry. He about swung out of his shoes there.
That was a nice off-speed pitch. Had Curry all twisted up.
Absolutely. Now, we've seen from the Diamond Hoppers, we've seen Collins get his control back quite a bit so far this inning. And if anything, he's been a little high and tight versus everything bouncing in low and away, low and away, low and away last inning in the third. So it's good to see him settle down.
Seems to have gotten back to just throwing, not so much aiming. Although Utica's strategy here seems to be just wait till you get a strike. Which is,
a good baseball strategy.
It's a good strategy with Collins struggling finding that strike zone.
Absolutely. Runner goes. That is Malik Blaze on the base pass, but he'll have to retreat back to first base as his partner in crime there, the left-hander, number 1, Collie Curry, follows that one off.
Seems the wait out a strike strategy, though, kind of has emboldened Collins to just start throwing more strikes. So it's a strategy, and that works.
Absolutely.
Unless you get more strikes thrown.
And Collins has a little more confidence this inning, too, from the stretch here. Fires in a fastball, and Coley Curry grounds this one over to second. He's got some great speed, and he shows it there, but a nice flip from the second baseman straight from the glove. A nice play there by Brassard as he flips over to Mihalik for the third and final out. But the Unicorns add another run with the home run to left, and it's 4-0 Unicorns, with the Diamond Hoppers coming your way. And we are back here in the bottom of the fourth as the Diamond Hoppers are looking to get on the board and get some redemption as they try to overcome a 4-0 deficit. Leading off for the Diamond Hoppers and looking at 2 balls and no strikes is number 19, Pat Adams. 0 for 1 so far tonight.
Even we're back at the top of the lineup. Adams hit a fly ball to left last time up.
Speaking of fly balls to left, Adams hits this one all the way out to the warning track once again. It gets elevated out there, and the wind just carries it. It's blowing straight out to left right now.
That ball went a lot farther than it probably should have.
Absolutely. And there's one away. The left fielder there with the put out for the Unicorns is Elliott. Next up for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, number 44, Freddie Geely. He is batting .273, left-hander against the right-hander. Goodson still on the mound for the Utica Unicorns.
He had a ground out to second his last time up.
This is Donald Goodson's 14th start and 17th appearance overall on the season. And honestly, his arm has only gotten stronger. That ball, that last pitch, while it was low and inside, 92 miles per hour. And you got to believe that, 17 appearances. It's a long season. We're nearing the end. You got to believe that maybe Goodson's arm would get a little bit tired this time of year, but he is firing. Everything fastball related has been high 80s, low 90s. Like I said, he's touched 92 already in this at-bat. That's a good sign for the Unicorns heading in to the playoffs next weekend.
For sure.
3-1 so far on Geely, and he looks at ball 4 inside, fastball.
Well, this is his last start before the playoffs happen. But he has been just gross with a 174 batting average against and 60 strikeouts in his last 74 innings.
60 Ks in 74 innings is really a stat that stood out to me as I prepared for this game. He's a Wayne State University grad, local kid, former outfielder turned pitcher. It's a great success story, and the fact that it's a local kid makes it even better. Speaking of good pitches, that's a fastball right down the middle. The first baseman for the Diamond Hoppers, Riley Mihalik, looked at that one all the way through. Strike one.
Let's see if the Hoppers try to throw him off at all and get Geely moving.
Oh, there's a ground ball over to the first baseman who immediately steps on the bag. That means when he throws over to second, he's going to have to make the tag, which he did for a successful double play. A little late reaction by the umpire there. Sorry for the delay. But the umpire acknowledged the out at first.
Actually, Steven, they called that a foul ball, I think.
Unbelievable. Sorry about that, folks, on YouTube land. That looked like it was right over first base. And the way the infield umpire pointed over to first, it looked like he was giving the out signal. But just a long-winded strike. 0-2 on Mihalik. Riley Mihalik batting .278, 0 for 1 in tonight's campaign so far. He battles here and fouls off that 0-2 pitch.
The Hoppers are going to need to find some way to get Goodson to start throwing more pitches. He has not thrown a lot of balls yet. He's thrown a lot of strikes in there. He's not thrown a lot of pitches. And he just looks like he's getting stronger.
Yeah, Goodson has really shown a lot of what makes him really worth the price of admission next weekend as we get ready for the playoffs here, championship weekend here at the USPBL, Jimmy Johns Field. Now, a lot's on the line next weekend. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go through the broadcast. The Beavers have won back-to-back championships. You won't see the Beavers tonight, but you will see them later in the weekend as we see ball number 2 high and outside. The Unicorns have a championship in their belt, too. They won the inaugural championship back in 2016, which means the Diamond Hoppers and the Mammoths are going to be clawing at those two teams to try to add a championship trophy in that dugout. And Mihalik tries to fight off that pitch, but he went around too far, one that was high and tight for strike number 3. Another strikeout there for Goodson.
Stephen, in the Mammoths' defense, they've only been in the league 2 years. They were not an original team. They were added. The league started with 3 teams, the Beavers, the Unicorns, and the Diamond Hoppers, and they added in the Mammoths the second season.
And, Jeff, I do think the Mammoths are really a team to look into next weekend. They've got a pitcher in Matt Cronin who is 7-0 on the season. Cronin has been just dealing, and is part of the reason that the Woolly Mammoths are 26-21 and knocking on the door of the first place Unicorns. There's a ball that is just cranked foul.
That might land in Irma's.
Best frozen custard around. 1-1 so far on number 5, Luke Johnson.
Yeah, Cronin's got a 220 average against him, and it's third best in the league right now.
Yeah, that's a good pitching. Defense wins ball games, right? Especially this time of year. You never know what weather you're going to get as the calendar shifts to September next week. We could see snow on the ground. We've seen weirder things here in Utica, Michigan. Now, the forecast doesn't call for it, but you never know. What do you think, meteorologist Jeff?
Well, I mean, we're seeing low 70s right now. Last year at this time, I remember the first day of school, it was in the 90s, and it was miserable.
Yeah.
My wife brought my son home from his first day of school, and they went downstairs in the basement and watched Frozen to think cold thoughts.
Hopefully sending those cold thoughts our way as we get back to school. Both of us are teachers. Jeff at Henry Ford High School and myself at Stony Creek High School in Rochester. Shout out to the Cougars who open up their varsity football game tonight against your Ford team.
That's true. It is a home game for the Falcons. As we play the Cougars, this might be our first meeting.
The fact that we haven't talked about that till this moment is pretty surprising.
Kind of shocking.
We just witnessed a walk there on the previous batter for the Diamond Hoppers, and we now turn our attention over to number 20 for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Gray, left-hander steps in there, looks at ball number 1. The Cougar freshman and JV teams took care of the Falcons pretty nicely yesterday, but it was our first game at our new field over at Stony Creek High School. Strike in there. It's 1-1 now. Goodson delivers a fastball on the inside corner for strike number 2. 1-2 is the count. 2 outs.
Goodson's still moving at a good pace. He's just been a little more wild this inning.
Oh, he tries to make a nice behind-the-back grab, but the second baseman will do his dirty work for him as he slides in, flips it over to the shortstop. That is a 5-6 putout for out number 3. Thank you for listening so far, ladies and gentlemen, as the Diamond Hoppers looked to get a little more aggressive there in that inning, but nothing to show for it, and it remains Utica Unicorns 4, the Eastside Diamond Hoppers 0. We go to the top of the 5th inning for the Utica Unicorns, number 8.
Jimmy Latona is up. He fouls off the first pitch he sees down the third base line for strike number 1.
It is still Irish-American night, brought to you by Guinness, and that, I believe, was our 3rd Irish Dance School. And we have Bob and Carl out on the MSGCU band stage out in right field. It has been quite a night.
It's a Hoppin' Thirsty Thursday, sponsored by Dave & Buster's, also here. The amount of entertainment that the league brings in on a daily basis, the sponsorships, everything that they do to bring in families and adults alike, it's just fantastic. The 1-1 pitch on the way, swing and a miss, had Latona swinging at his shoe tops there. Did Collins. Collins now ahead of the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 pitch on the way from the southpaw. This one is drilled to right center field. Latona rounds first, takes a big look at second base, and retreats back to first for a leadoff single for the Utica Unicorns.
Yeah, Latona's been dialed in tonight. He has been on base all 3 times and scored 2 runs. But that is his first hit of the night.
You know, I'm always impressed with catchers who can hit the ball well. The amount of responsibility that they have to call a game and yet to hit for average and hit with a little bit of power is very impressive. So Latona's on first. That'll bring up number 21, Dan Elliott. He's 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. We got a ball that gets away from the catcher, number 25, for the Diamond Hoppers. That'll advance the runner to second base.
You don't often see good hitting catchers because there's so much responsibility.
So
And
who's
so
your
much-
all-time favorite Major League Baseball hitting catcher? Not fielding. Who's your favorite hitting catcher? Known specifically for their offense.
Honestly, being a Tigers fan,
Yeah.
and he drove me nuts,
Yeah.
but Joe Mauer.
Yeah, he was a Tiger killer.
He-
We talked about the Twins more than anyone else on this broadcast.
Because they drive you nuts.
2-0 on Elliott. Elliott the lefty. 2-0 pitch. Low and outside against away from the catcher once again. A big turn there as the runner advances to third. But he'll stick at third.
We're seeing some of that wildness come back again from Collins.
Yeah, you hate to see that. Like I said earlier, you want the Unicorns to earn their runs here. But Latona will take it, as Latona now is on third base for the Utica Unicorns. 3-0 is the count against Dan Elliott. You know, I got to go with Pudge Rodriguez, being a guy that was partial season ticket holder in my household. My parents let my sister and I run wild around Old Tiger Stadium. We didn't watch a lot of good baseball, Jeff, in those days in the early 90s or late 90s and early 2000s. And it really was Pudge Rodriguez that led that resurgence of the Detroit Tigers in the early to mid 2000s. That set the table for guys like Maglio to come here, Carlos Guillen, and here's Elliott. Hits the ball right into the shift. The Diamond Hoppers have the scouting report on Dan Elliott. Hit well, but that is out number 1.
Broussard did not have to move.
No.
That was a Sandlot-esque, just stick your glove up.
You know what's funny
Right.
is when we see shifts like that in a league like this, that shows that they know each other very well. We were talking to the Diamond Hopper catcher before the game, and he was saying how all the players from all the teams are so close. It's a close-knit family with one another, even if they have no background, no prior experience being in the same league with one another or going to the same college. It was great to hear the camaraderie that and the brotherhood that these guys share. 1-0 on Ashton Barzell. Barzell's 1 for 2 today with a single and an RBI, and he drives one deep to left field on a line right at the left fielder. We've got play at the plate, though, on the tag up, and it is not in time as Latona showing some speed for a guy that has to bend down behind the plate quite often. And the Utica Unicorns expand their lead to 5-0.
Stephen, Pat Adams out there in left just threw another rope to the plate. He has shown quite the arm out there. on several plays that were incredibly close.
And Adams is a guy, he's a right-hander. He's got that almost that shooting sleeve, basketball shooting sleeve on. And I wonder if that gives him a little extra comfort on his throwing arm to just fire it in. And how many times have we seen that? Three different times.
That's number 3.
Here's number 10, Colin Rideout, up next for the Unicorns, here with 2 outs. Top of the 5th. Unicorns have expanded their lead to 5-0. Rideout is 1 for 2. He hits this one down the line, just foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. That ball was hit in the right field line, down near where the kids' zone is. Some great facilities for USPBL. Like I was saying earlier, the kids' stuff out here is amazing. Great jungle gym, a wiffle ball arena.
Steven, you been on that wiffle ball field yet?
I have not. I imagine your kids love it, though.
We have not made it out there yet. I'd like to make it out there because I have quite the history with wiffle ball.
Absolutely.
Playing pickup games in the backyard.
Nothing like it. Rideout looks at the 1-2 pitch. That's outside. Evens up the count at 2-2.
We grew up, and my friend who lived down the street, we'd play in his backyard. He had a big open area in the backyard with a berm. That was kind of our wall. Problem was, on the other side of the berm was an office complex.
Slow roller over to second base. Flips over to first for the 3rd out. Here in the top of the 5th, it's Unicorns 5, Diamond Hoppers 0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. The Diamond Hoppers looking to make some noise. We'll see you back in the bottom of the 5th. Thank you for joining us live on YouTube here from Jimmy John's Field.
Yes.
We are back in the bottom of the 5th inning. Diamond Hoppers are looking to get on the board. We have number 23, Cole Perry, looking to start something for the Eastsiders. Perry's 0 for 1 in tonight's game. He's batting .286 on the campaign. Pitching from Goodson is a ball, low and outside. Maybe got his signals crossed there with his catcher as we have a quick trip out to the pitcher's mound here. What do you think Latuna's saying here? 1 pitch. It had to have been a mix-up on what Latuna thought he was going to get from Goodson.
Pretty sure he didn't tell him to hit the bull. As there's no bull.
I was going to say, hit the unicorn?
Hit the frog?
Hit the frog. Don't want to see that. It's 2 great-looking mascots here at Jimmy John's Field.
They do have some of the better mascots.
Hopper and Lancelot. And there's a ball drilled into right field. Cole Perry has the first hit of the night for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. What a run there for Goodson.
Yes. Goodson was looking good. We weren't going to say anything about it, but there has only been one no-hitter in USPBL history. It occurred actually in their first year, and it was a Unicorns pitcher, Donnie Murray, who threw the last one in 2016.
So it's been since the inaugural season, huh?
Yep.
That would have been something. However,
Would have been cool.
Goodson is still dealing. Runner on first now. Sean Guida at the plate.
Stephen, I remember most no-hitters where you and I are texting back and forth nonstop, but we're not saying anything because we don't want to be the one to jinx it.
Absolutely. Had a chance to be at Verlander's no-hitter at home. Bought tickets the day of, kind of a fluke. Got off work early, headed down to the stadium, sat in left field behind the bullpen. Knew Verlander was going to be on the mound. You knew something was special in that game, Jeff, from the first curveball he threw. That ball had more movement than the Porsche he drove home to his girlfriend at the time, now wife, Kate Upton. The ball, I mean, I was sitting in left field, like I said. I was so far away from that thing, but you could see the ball move from left to right to left, whatever it was, up and down. He commanded every pitch with precision. And it was one of the best baseball memories of my life as we see ball 3 go low to Sean Guida, making the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I feel as though in Detroit we have had the pleasure of watching probably one of the greats. Watching Verlander pitch.
As we see, we get back to that story about Verlander, as we see Guida ground over to the first baseman, who actually takes the head runner out there for the first out of the inning. That means that Guida will be safe at first.
Watching those pitches from Verlander, especially, he's got that 12-6 curve that it just looks like you roll the ball right off a table. And watching these hitters, their knees just buckle as they have no idea what to do with that is impressive. I think it's more impressive lately at his almost renaissance that he's had in Houston. He struggled for a couple of years, the last couple of years in Detroit, but he has really put it all together now.
The ball gets away there from the catcher for the Unicorns, Latona, and the runner will advance to second base as Brant Broussard looked at ball number 1. And you just don't see that in Major League Baseball. And it's not like it's just a more recent thing, just ever. A guy have a resurgence like that, a guy that was injured there towards the end of his Tigers career. He had a great season where he almost won the Cy Young for the Tigers, and then gets traded to a unbelievably talented roster already before Verlander. And, man, the Astros are a tough out in this coming playoff season. It's 2-1 on Brant Broussard here at Jimmy John's Field. Broussard is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Runner on second for the Diamond Hoppers. Ball is inside. That'll make it 3-1 against Broussard.
So, Stephen, in between innings, they had a presentation with legendary NHL broadcaster Doc Emmerich, who was presenting a check to the Shelby Police Department to help buy armor for canine units and for the dogs. And him and his wife have been going from town to town and helping out those police departments, which is pretty amazing.
It's a great story. And a name like Doc Emmerich, everyone knows, obviously, him from being one of the most legendary National Hockey League announcers. To have him come and support not only this league, but support the local police force and specifically the police dogs, the police canines, is pretty remarkable. Great work by Doc Emmerich, and it's great to see him, as Matt Derry said between innings, the voice of God, yes. Doc Emmerich, as we see a walk and a wild pitch there, and that'll put runners on the corners for the first real threat that the Diamond Hoppers have had all night. With 1 out, that brings it up to Bradley Hamilton, number 25, batting 147 on the year. He's 0 for 1 so far today, and he looks at a ball outside. Fastball by Goodson, 90 miles per hour here in the 5th inning. The Diamond Hoppers are due for a big hit here. We've seen some fireworks so far from the Unicorns. That ball is outside. Goodson looking a little bit more wild. He went straight from the ball leaving his hand. The ball went right to his mouth. He licked his hand, wiped it off, trying to get a better grip on it. The rain has stopped here in Utica. A little chilly, breezy still. Wind blowing out to left center field. Hamilton fouls one off. This one is going to go off the netting along the first base line. 2-1 against Bradley Hamilton. Now Hamilton, the catcher for the Diamond Hoppers, Jeff, happens to be the son of a rather famous Cleveland Indians broadcaster, Tom Hamilton, a guy that has a lot of notoriety obviously in Major League Baseball, and a Cleveland Indians staple, legend, if you will. It's good to see that baseball runs in the family here as Hamilton gets his shot with the Diamond Hoppers. My brother-in-law, Kurt, grew up a lifelong Indians fan, and he has been gloating nonstop today about the way that the Indians have played against the Tigers this season and the last couple. And there's another walk here. Hamilton will take the trot over to first base. That'll load them up here at Jimmy John's Field for the Diamond Hoppers as they trail 5-0, and it'll call for a conference at the mound between some of the Utica Unicorns. The men in purple gather on the elevated platform there at the mound.
They have all of our lily pads are full.
I like that.
Let's see. Does look like there's a little bit of action down in the bullpen.
Well, with the left-handed hitting Pat Adams that we saw, he throws right based on his near heroics in left field.
He has flown out to left twice today.
Pat Adams has shown some power this year. 3 home runs. Batting .322 on the year. Bases loaded. The payoff pitch here from Goodson. Adams wanted to swing at that. Then he wanted to hold up. And he looked a little silly.
Yes.
But when you're batting .322 with 3 home runs and 17 RBIs, and you've got 48 hits on the campaign, and you got the bases juiced, I know how that goes. You want to hit the ball, hit the stripes off that ball.
With Goodson having a hard time finding the plate this inning, if you see that ball right down the pipe,
oof,
you might as well swing.
Absolutely. Adams is doing nothing but swinging right now. 0-2, fouls that one off. Right behind home plate. Adams also has a great eye, 45 walks on the year. And I will say this, if you come down to a USPBL game, you are going to see a lot of base runners, both with great hitting, but also just a lot of patience and a lot of walks in this league, which makes it exciting with extra base runners. Adams strikes out on a fastball there by Goodson, swing and a miss. And that is the second out of the inning here. Last hope so far here in the 5th for the Diamond Hoppers. It's up to number 44, Freddie Geely. What's Geely done so far tonight, Jeff?
He walked his last time up. He's 0 for 1 with that walk. In his first at bat, he hit a ground ball to second.
Excellent. Thank you very much. He looks at a ball high, 1-0 on Freddie. Goodson looks at all the runners. Fires it in there. A little high, 2-0.
Stephen, you were talking about Cleveland. We have both been to Progressive Field at Cleveland. It's a fairly nice stadium.
Nothing worse, though, than that drummer playing that drum as loud as he possibly can. But I guess so if it annoyed me, the enemy in that stadium, yes, he did his job. There's a strike to Geely, 2-1, 2 outs, bases juiced, full of Diamond Hoppers. As Jeff said earlier, the lily pads are full. 3-1 on Geely. No place to put him. Goodson's got to throw a strike here, otherwise that 0 on the scoreboard is going to turn to a 1 quickly. Fires in a fastball at 91 miles per hour. Geely's able to foul that one off over our heads, maybe into the staff parking lot. 3-2.
Going home with a souvenir, but they're not going to know until they've realized they're missing a window. There's a lot of history in Cleveland. They have like their own version of Monument Park, and the one time I went there, I was surprised to learn
3-2 pitch is fouled off there.
Shoeless Joe played for Cleveland.
You know, I remember you telling me that, and obviously he doesn't get any notoriety for playing for them, but it does go to show just how amazing sports history can be. You go to a stadium expecting to see a game live and in action, and you leave with learning some great history. One of the reasons I love the old Yankee Stadium, I know you were a big fan yourself. Oh, outside corner. He painted that one right there. A nice frame job by the catcher for the Unicorns, Latona, and Goodson pitches his way out of a jam in the 5th. The Diamond Hoppers leave them loaded, and we still have a Unicorns 5-0 lead over the Diamond Hoppers. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back after this.
Second.
And we're back here in the top of the 6th from Jimmy John's Field. We've got a pitching change for the Diamond Hoppers. Jeff, who do we have on the mound for the Eastsiders? That's number 35, Matt Rowland.
Rowland is an 11th round draft pick of the Braves in 2016, right out of high school.
And what was the final stat line there for Collins?
Collins ended the game with 5 innings pitched. He struck out 2 and walked 3, gave it 4 hits and 5 runs, including that bomb to Orloff to lead off the 4th.
You know, give credit to Collins. Every time he struggled, he did have some battle back pitches and some battle back at-bats. It was good to see. And really, you know, like we talked about with the manager from the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, this is such a season of growth, of learning, and I think Collins had a fair amount of learning today, as the Unicorns put up a 5 spot against him. But it's now time to see what Rowland can do as he throws his first strike, 2-1 now against Kyle Orloff. Orloff is 1 for 2 in today's game, including that firework to left field, the home run, and obviously the RBI. Orloff fouls the 2-1 pitch off down the right field line. 2-2.
We talked to Diamond Hoppers skipper Paul Noshi before the game, and he did say part of his struggle this year has been a lot of their players have been signed with major league organizations. So I believe he said they lost their top 3 pitchers. to the majors?
I think he said top 3 to the majors, a number of other guys to other independent leagues and other leagues that are higher up than the USPBL in terms of competition this season. And that's got to be so difficult to manage, something that you really don't have to deal with much in leagues like Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, NHL, etc. Just because if you've got one guy injured, you know who you can bring up at that position, as we see the count go full to Orloff. In the USPBL, if someone gets brought up or signed by a club, you've got to go out and do a tryout for that position. Bring in a brand new guy. Maybe you've never seen play. Maybe he tried out for you previously. Maybe you've never seen play. And introduce him to a group of guys that have been playing with one another all season long. So it can't be easy.
You are relying on, as we see a walk to Orloff, you are relying on the word of coaches from other places that will give you some information. Some of that information is really good, and some of that information isn't as good.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that the coach told us before the game there is that the tryouts for this league have gotten so popular before the season that they're seeing some just tremendous talent, and it's only going to get better as more and more players get signed by big league clubs. So it's De La Cruz now. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout so far in tonight's campaign. He looks at ball 1 just a little bit high, 93 miles per hour on that fastball from Matt Rowland. Rowland, the right-hander, was playing previously with the Evansville Otters of the Frontier League, an independent league that I definitely would like to check out at some point. De La Cruz grounder to shortstop. This will go 6-4-3 with a double play. That's 2 for the price of 1 for the Diamond Hoppers, and that's 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
Stephen, with the players they're getting here, there's really nowhere but up to go for the USPBL. I'm excited to see what the future holds if there's expansion in teams as they get more better players.
Absolutely.
It's just a fun atmosphere. I've been to a number of games. I bring my young kids. They love it here. There's not a bad seat in this place, and I would know because I've never sat in one. My kids love just walking around. They love the playground. They love well, we have not done the wiffle ball yet.
But they will love
my
the wiffle
son
ball.
Did throw a nice 26-mile-an-hour fastball, though, in the pitch speed competition. The lawn seats out there and right, lawn seats are fun.
Absolutely. They have a couple of during the game pre-inning starting competitions and things that they do with the outfield crowd and the infield crowd. It's entertaining, it's engaging, it's awesome for kids and adults alike. Here's a ground ball by Bonicki over to first base, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning. After 5.5, it's your Utica Unicorns 5 and your Eastside Diamond Hoppers 0.
We're back in the bottom of the 6th inning where we see Riley Mihalik pop up the first pitch he sees to straightaway center field. That ball was hit a mile straight up.
If it rains again, I might blame that foul ball.
We know who to blame, Riley. We know who to blame. 1 out for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here in the 6th inning. Coming up for the Diamond Hoppers, number 5, Luke Johnson. Johnson walked his previous time up. He takes a big cut at that fastball by Goodson for strike 1.
You know, Steve, we're talking about those lawn seats out there. You and I are both Michigan State alumni. Go green.
Go white.
I don't know how many games you made it to, but as
This
we see
is
a
a
ground ball.
beautiful stop by the shortstop for the Unicorns. That's Blaze, but he couldn't get the ball out of his glove to make the throw. The fact that he was able to get his glove on that ball was pretty impressive.
That was
That's
Ozzie Smith-like.
Absolutely. The Wizard of Oz would be proud, but it's a base hit for the Diamond Hoppers, and that'll put a runner on first with 1 out. And, Jeff, I think you were talking about the Lansing Lugnuts, one of the many beautiful, beautiful, beautiful minor league parks that we have in the great state of Michigan. I was out to plenty of Lugnuts games during my undergrad as we see Zachary Gray with a high chopper to second, relay to second for 1, throw it to first, gets away from the Unicorns, and Gray will cruise into second, standing up.
It's an example of something I remember. I was lucky enough to have my dad coach me in Little League when I was a kid, and I always remember him kind of driving in our heads, don't make more throws than you have to.
Absolutely.
That was a close play at second. It was a great play by the second baseman, Benicki. The shortstop, Blaze didn't have a play. He did not have a chance to get him in first. Probably should have just eaten that ball.
Absolutely. I can almost hear the faint echo of my father, who also coached me, yelling from the dugout for making that extra throw. Ball in the dirt, 1-0 on Cole Perry, number 23 for the Diamond Hoppers. He's 1 for 2 in tonight's game with a single. Runner on second, 2 down. Bottom 6 here from Jimmy John's Field. Thanks for tuning in.
So, back to the Lugnuts. I am aging myself here. I was there. My freshman year of college was the inaugural season of the Lugnuts. I actually sang the national anthem and the Michigan State fight song.
You sang.
Yeah, that's a scary thought, I know.
There's a ground ball hit hard to third base, but he scoops it. Speaking of scoops, the first baseman for the Unicorns makes a nice play. That's right out, picks it up out of the dirt for the third and final out. I look forward to hearing more about Jeff's singing voice. Maybe he'll put in a few tunes for all of you in YouTube land after this, where it's the Utica Unicorns 5, the Eastside Diamond Hoppers 0 after 6.
And we're back from Jimmy John's Stadium here in historic Utica, Michigan. The Unicorns are coming up here in the top of the 7th. They'll start off with the shortstop, number 20, Malik Blaze. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. The right-hander for the Hoppers in his second inning of relief duty, Matt Rowland, with the first pitch. Ball 1.
We'll be sparing the YouTube viewers of my singing voice tonight.
Blaze hits it hard down the third base line, gobbled up nearly by the third baseman, but he can't make the play. And I think the way that was hit, that will probably be scored a hit, but we will check. Yes, actually it is a hit. The 7th hit of the game for the Unicorns, and Blaze takes first base on the single. Next up is the leadoff batter for the Utica Unicorns. We've got Coley Curry coming up. Curry's batting .305, although he's 0 for 3 in tonight's game. Rolling from the stretch now. Sets, throws, fastball in at 90 miles per hour. Curry swings and misses for strike number 1. You know, we were talking a little bit about other independent leagues a little bit earlier, other minor league stadiums. I was looking around a little bit on the internet at some of the other independent leagues as we see the 0-1 pitch go inside on Curry. There are quite a few independent baseball leagues across North America, Jeff. 8 main independent baseball leagues, with a few more on the horizon. Now, I'm going to give you a little quiz here, Jeff. I've got some of my favorite teams that I've found as the ball gets away from the Diamond Hopper catcher. Looks like it hit Coley Curry, or did it? The umps are conferencing. We got a timeout on the field as they discuss this. Curry thought it hit him. The infield umpire looked like he motioned for Curry to take first. Meanwhile, the base runner Blaze is on second. We'll get this sorted out. But anyways, I have a little quiz for you. Jeff, there's a team in Long Island from the Atlantic League of Professional Baseball. What do you think their mascot could be?
Well, we already have some Islanders in the NHL.
So not the Islanders?
Not the Islanders. I might throw the Ducks out there.
Quack, quack. You are correct.
What kind of Mickey Mouse team would call themselves the Ducks?
Excellent quote there from an excellent movie. Coley Curry did not get hit by that pitch. That's a ball. It'll be 2-1 on Curry. Blaze still advances to second. The 2-1 pitch. Just a little bit outside with that fastball at 93 miles per hour from the right-hander Rowland. Rowland stands in at 6'5", 225 pounds, and the 3-1 pitch. Swung on and hit straight up right above home plate. And a nice play going into foul territory, then back into fair territory by the catcher. Is that the catcher Hamilton? No, we've switched catchers. I have to get that name for you here shortly, but that is the first out of the 7th inning.
I think that still Johnson.
Next up for the Utica Unicorns, number 8, Jimmy Latona. He is having a nice night, 2 for 2. Couple walks. And a single. That can't be right. Does he have 2 singles or 1 here, Jeff? You have the scorecard in front of you? Scoreboard reads one thing, and
I have a walk. He reached on an error, and he did hit a single to right his last time up.
Excellent. Thank you for clearing that up as Latona looks at 2 balls and no strikes for the catcher. Latona from Rochester, New York, previously from Mercyhurst University in Pennsylvania. It's his second year with the team. He has developed a little bit more power this year, as we mentioned earlier, with 7 home runs on this campaign as the ball gets away from the Diamond Hoppers again. And Blaze will blaze on over to third base. 3-0. Runner on third, 1 out here at the top of the 7th. So we had the Long Island Ducks from the Northeast. Another one of the independent baseball leagues that I was looking at last night is the Empire Professional Baseball League, and my personal favorite mascot is the Saranac Lake Surge of New York.
That is kind of cool.
Latona gets first base on the walk. Runners on first and third now as the Unicorns threaten again with one out in the seventh. Runners on the corners. Quick visit to the mound here by the Diamond Hopper skipper. Paul Nochi's in his fourth season as the Diamond Hoppers manager.
There is action in the Diamond Hoppers bullpen. It looks like Luis Contreras is warming up.
Luis Contreras getting warm out there as we see Roland lose the command a little bit. The conference is over as Nochi goes back to the dugout. The assistant coaches for the Diamond Hoppers are Von Joshua on his first season and Mike O'Sullivan in his first season. All contacts of Nochi's from previous stints and previous teams. Here's Dan Elliott, number 21 for the Utica Unicorns. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a walk in tonight's ball game. He sees a strike right down the center of a plate, off-speed pitch in at 82 miles per hour, 0-1 against Elliott.
Elliott is 1 for 2 tonight. He did have a single in the first, and he did walk in the third.
Ball gets away from the Diamond Hopper catcher again, trickles out just a little bit down towards the first baseline. That'll advance the runner from first over to second. That's 2 runners in scoring position now, with only 1 out for the Unicorns. Elliott is looking at an 0-2 count. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Right down the center of the plate, a fastball. Powers that in by Elliott. He wasn't expecting fastball there. And Roland sets him down looking for the second out of the top of the 7th. Due up for Utica now is number 2. This is Ashton Bardzell. 1 for 2 tonight with a single and a couple of ribbies. A couple more out there possibly, with 2 Unicorns out there in scoring position. Bardzell looks at the first pitch. It's in there for a strike right down the center of the plate. Strike 1 on Ashton Bardzell.
That wind is still blowing, and will probably still play a role. I walked out of the press box for a second and pretty much got blown right back into it.
Wind's blowing out to center field for those of you that can't see it on the YouTube broadcast. It has been blowing steadily all game. Probably helped out the 1 home run we saw to the left for the Unicorns. The 1-1 pitch upcoming to Bardzell. High, but Jeff, that had some juice on it as that comes in at a fastball at 94 miles per hour for the right-hander from Georgia, Matt Roland. Roland sets and delivers. 2-1 pitch outside. 3-1. All right, Jeff, so we talked a little bit about some of our minor league history, major league history. What is your all-time favorite historic Major League Baseball stadium? So it kind of fits in that old-timer category.
It's tough. There is a special place in my heart for Tiger Stadium. It is the first ballpark I went to. It is seared into my memory, walking down into the depths, and then you walk up to get to your seats, and all you see is daylight and bright green grass, and it is incredible.
That 3-1 pitch to Bardzell is outside, and that'll load the bases with majestic purple Unicorns. Bases juiced now. 2 down. I know exactly what you're talking about, that feeling of walking into Tiger Stadium, that feeling like nothing else in the world mattered anymore. You're there to watch baseball and to watch guys that you know and love. Here's number 10, Colin Rideout.
Even though you were probably sitting behind a pole.
Not many of those seats, if any, in this park, as there's not a bad seat in the house here at Jimmy John's Field. First pitch to Rideout is high for ball 1. All right, so outside of the Detroit market, what do you got for me?
I think I'd have to say Fenway.
I'm right there with you.
Fenway was, I mean, the history, the fans, the incredible hot dogs.
The hot dogs, the tradition, the Sweet Caroline
Yes,
at the stretch. Unbelievable, as we saw Rideout there with a foul ball behind the plate. We were treated so it was just a beautiful park to visit, first of all. The history is incredible, but the fans there, I think, sometimes get a bad rep for being a little bit too crazy. But they treated us well. Oh, look out! That's a line shot off the pitcher, Roland. That brings in a run, but I think the concern now is about the well-being of the right-hander, Roland. Let's see if they have a visit from the trainer. He looks like he's okay. And everybody's safe. The bases will remain loaded. We'll take a quick timeout here to make sure that Roland's okay. A visit to the mound. This will be all the Diamond Hoppers coming in to the raised mound. Umpire comes in to check in on him too. And we'll be right back to let you know what's going on with Roland. It looks like Roland's okay. He sent his manager back to the dugout. We're back ready to rock and roll. Bases are still loaded full of unicorns. It's 6-0 now after the single off of the lower leg of the pitcher. This ball is hit a mile in the air, caught by the second baseman for the Diamond Hoppers, and that ends the inning. But the Unicorns add another one to the scoreboard, and they lead 6-0 after 7.5. Jeff, I look forward to hearing your rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game in just a second.
As long as you're willing to hold me in as I hang out the window.
And we're back here at Jimmy John's Field for the bottom of the 7th. We've got a pitching change for the Unicorns. The new pitcher is Murphy. He throws a fastball in there, just missed 1-0. The 1-0 pitch, right down the center of the plate, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike against Sean Guida. Tyler Murphy, the right-hander for the Unicorns, takes the mound, replacing Goodson, who had a very, very nice outing tonight. And that is a weapon for the playoffs as the Unicorns look to make a deep run. Goodson pitched really well.
He did.
Murphy's 1-2 pitch on the way, and it's fouled off by Guida.
Goodson went 6 innings. He did strike out 4. He also looks like walked 4, but he did only give up that 1 hit and blanked the Hoppers.
You know, I liked what I saw from Goodson. He was confident from the stretch. He was confident from the windup. It didn't matter. He was thrown with a lot of speed both early in the game and late in the game. And for a guy that's pitched a lot this season, that's really, really nice to see. 2-2 now. The count against Guida. Guida's 0 for 2 in the game tonight. Fouls it off, stays alive.
Guida did make it to 3rd in his last at-bat after reaching on a fielder's choice. He is the closest Hopper to the plate so far as coming around.
He sees ball 3 there. The count is full to the first batter that Murphy faces, Sean Guida. Full count pitch is up and outside, 91-mile-per-hour fastball that just missed. Guida takes first base, and we see our first runner of the bottom of the 7th for the Diamond Hoppers. Now, we mentioned earlier there's a lot going on here at the stadium tonight. We've got Thirsty Thursday sponsored by Guinness. It is Irish Heritage Night. That's sponsored by Guinness. Thirsty Thursday sponsored by Dave & Buster's. We've got Doc Emmerich in the house. Emmerich is a 6-time Emmy Award-winning broadcaster. So when Matt Derry calls him the voice of God, he's got the trophies to show it. There's a ball fouled off along the first baseline, just missed by the Unicorns. Just a strike against Brant Broussard. 0-1 against Broussard, nobody out. Runner on first for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Broussard is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout and a walk.
We've had numerous Irish dance troops out here.
They've been very impressive to watch.
They have been. We do also have out there Bob and Carl on the Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union soundstage playing some Irish music for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, Jeff, do you have any experience in Ireland? I think you've been there before, haven't you?
I did get to go there once on a cruise. It was pretty amazing, including the Guinness Factory Tour, which I highly suggest.
Special shout out to our sponsor tonight, Guinness. Thank you for Irish Heritage Night. I, too, have been to Ireland. I actually I got my master's degree through Michigan State, but studying abroad in Dublin for one summer and Galway, Ireland the second summer. And on a night where people are showing off their Irish pride, I couldn't have been more proud to spend those 2 summers overseas. The people, amazing. The food, The drinks, amazing. And the music is really what sets everything apart. If you've never had a chance to get to Ireland, folks, you have to get there if you're tuning in tonight on the USPBL broadcast. 2-2 now is the count against Broussard. Runner on first, nobody out. We got a shot up between the shortstop and the third baseman, a seeing eye single for Brant Broussard. That'll put runners on first and second. Still nobody out. The Diamond Hoppers are threatening here. Apparently all they needed to do was chase Goodson.
Yep. Get Goodson off the mound, and the rest will fall into place for him.
That's what it seems like so far.
There is action down there in the Unicorn bullpen. See if I can see through the rainbows to see who's down there.
We've got a pinch hitter coming in for the Diamond Hoppers. This is number 2, Jordan Wiley, a hometown hero of sorts, a Rochester Adams grad. We won't hold that against him, though. And he sees the first pitch he sees, he hits right to second base for the first out of the inning. A short-lived at-bat for Wiley, but he did get some good wood on the ball.
Stephen, I believe they brought the right fielder Johnson in to play catcher, and that might be Wiley out there and right.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Next up for the Diamond Hoppers is number 19, Pat Adams. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout so far in tonight's campaign. Looking to do some damage and put something across the scoreboard, get rid of that goose egg. And he looks at strike one right down the center of the plate. 0-1 against Adams. Adams batting .322. For the Diamond Hoppers, the 0-1 pitch from Murphy. That's a changeup high, 80 miles per hour on that one. 1-1, 1 out.
Guida down there in second is taking a huge secondary lead.
Absolutely. And they're letting him. Blaze is playing way off.
But they're definitely thinking about him.
2-1 now against Pat Adams. Mentioned Adams earlier from Warren, Michigan, the Wayne State University graduate. De La Salle grad also. Last year in the USPBL, he played 31 games, batted .267 with 1 home run, 9 RBIs, and a .348 OBP. 2-2 now is the count on Adams. Special shout out to those Irish dancers. I have one of my colleagues at Stony Creek High School, Mrs. Tig, is dancing on the field tonight with the Irish dancers and is doing a great job leading the way with those girls. The count goes full on Adams. It's 3-2, 1 out. Runners on first and second. Murphy, a little bit of a jam, goes from the stretch. Fires in, and this one is lined into left center field. This is going to be damage for the Diamond Hoppers, and the Froggies are on the board as number 6 for the Diamond Hoppers comes around to score, and it is now 6-1 after the hit by Pat Adams, an RBI single. Runners on first and second, still only 1 out. The Diamond Hoppers might not be done as they have welcomed Murphy into this game with open arms. They're glad to see Goodson back with his jacket on in the dugout. Freddie Geely now up. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout in tonight's game. Payoff pitch, low and inside, ball 1. Now, Jeff, the stadium holds about 4,500 seats. Obviously more room out in right field, left field, and some of the picnic areas for families and corporate events as we see a strike in there. 1-1 now against Geely. I have seen this place rocking, though, at 4,500 seats. This place really does get loud, and the seats are filled on a regular basis. It doesn't matter if it's Thursday. It doesn't matter if it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This place gets loud. Last Friday night, these same two teams played against one another. We mentioned this earlier in the broadcast. But the Unicorns were trailing by 2 late in the game, and when they came back in the 8th inning, this place was shaking. I mean, we're talking the 8th inning on a Friday night. Lots of families here. It was fireworks night, so I know the families were staying for the fireworks as Geely goes down swinging. Strike 3, 2 outs now. But when the Diamondbacks mounted their comeback, Jeff, you probably could hear it from the patio at Dugan's. It was impressive.
There's just something about watching a big comeback. It's exciting. It's inspiring.
And
it's just fun.
What I like about fans, though, is that even though it's the Utica Unicorns, right, and we're in Utica, Michigan, there are a lot of fans that have adopted one of the other teams in the USPBL. You walk around the stadium and you see a lot of green, a lot of blue, and a lot of that bright, ribbity, orangey yellow from the Diamond Hoppers.
I am more of a Mammoths fan myself. That is a pretty awesome logo.
It is a great logo. I look forward to seeing the damage that the Mammoths can make in the playoffs.
That might have just landed it in the pool store.
1-2 now on Riley Mihalik, batting .278. He's 0 for 3 tonight. The 1-2 pitch on the way from Murphy. Low in the dirt, 2-2. 2 out now. Runners on first and second. We're in the bottom of the 7th. This one's fouled away. Now, Jeff, you teach here in Utica. Do you feel like there's a little bit more of an excitement surrounding this game, the game of baseball, because of the stadium being so close to your high school? And have you heard from families and students that make their way out here?
There's a bit more. The USPBL has done a lot to work with UCS and with the schools. They made their initial announcement about the teams actually at Epler Junior High, which is across the river out in center field.
Another foul ball here by Mihalik.
So there is a lot of excitement. A lot of people. The first season I came here, I saw a lot of former students that worked here.
I think that's what you just said is key. The amount of young people, whether they're still in high school, starting as interns or getting paid, or they're in college or recent college graduates that we're seeing get hired here by the league, by the USPBL, is just amazing. I mean, as a sports fan, as a baseball fan, growing up here in this area, this would have been a dream job of mine, and I know you too. Mihalik goes down on strikes. He got caught with a half swing up and in. And after 7 innings, it is Utica 6 and the Eastside Diamond Hoppers 1. Thank you for tuning in so far on the broadcast here on YouTube. This is the USPBL YouTube station. And we are back here starting the top of the 8th inning here at Jimmy John's Field. We've got a pitching change for the Diamond Hoppers. The Northville, Michigan, and Adrian College Bulldog alum, Dugan Darnell. What do you got on Darnell, Jeff?
Well, Darnell's been good in long relief. He's real good for chewing up innings and saving some arms. It looks like he had a .68 ERA in 13 innings.
Pretty impressive stuff, and he shows off the signature slurve pitch there on ball one. Just missed, but he's got a nasty slurve. He throws a fastball in at 86, maybe 87 miles per hour. He's got a nice, interesting delivery here as he rocks that left leg just kind of side-cocked a little bit towards first base. And De La Cruz, number 12 for the Utica Unicorns, swings and misses at that fastball. 1-1 now on Adam De La Cruz. He's 0 for 3 tonight with a strikeout. Darnell had a .39 ERA his senior year at Adrian. Pretty impressive stuff all around from the numbers we've seen from him. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there,
Oh,
Jeff.
that's okay. If you're wondering what the slurve is, as I was, it is a slider curve. It is you hold it like a curveball, you throw it like a slider. It's got a slider speed, but curveball stuff.
It's not a slider. It's not a curve.
It's a slurve.
It's the slurve. The 2-1 pitch on the way to De La Cruz. This ball has got eyes, but those eyes go right into the glove of the shortstop. No play at first base. De La Cruz is safe with an infield single.
That was a nice play by the shortstop.
We've seen some beauties in the
Freddie
infield. I mean, not many for outs, but the fact that some of these guys are able to get it in their gloves has been pretty impressive. Looking it all the way in, that's key, right?
It's fun watching leagues like this. Is these guys play hard? Not to say that higher levels they don't play hard, but these guys, they're giving. I mean, we have seen them flying, rolling, hopping, diving all over this field, and it's fun to watch.
On Irish Heritage Night, one of the closest things I can relate this to is some of the big sports in Ireland in the Gaelic Sports League are hurling and Gaelic football, which is a nice mix between basketball, American football, and American volleyball. But these guys don't get paid unless they have endorsements. They're playing for the jersey. They're playing for their county, playing for their towns. And a lot of these guys here playing in Jimmy John's Field for the USPBL, they might not be from here, but once they get that jersey on, they're playing for pride of that jersey. The 0-1 pitch to Kyle Bonicki is high and outside, 1-1. All right, Jeff, we've talked about wiffle ball. We've talked about softball. Favorite baseball video game from growing up? Go.
RBA baseball, 1987. Brett Saberhagen. His body didn't move, but the arm came out parallel to the ground with a beep.
Saberhagen, famous for, was he the knuckler?
He was a sidearm pitcher.
Sidearm guy,
but
okay.
nothing like you saw in RBI baseball
All
on
right.
the Nintendo.
You've aged yourself a few times during this broadcast. For those of you scoring at home, that 1987 is the year before I was born, but I did play that. I have played that game before. My favorite comes from 1997, and it was a game on my my Game Boy Color, and it was Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball game from 1997. If you played with the Mariners, as we see Bonicki line one out to straightaway center field, right at the center fielder for out number 1. If you played as the Mariners in that game, it was basically a cheat code. I mean, that team was stacked. That was Alex Rodriguez in his rookie year, or maybe his second year in the league. Ken Griffey Jr. batting third. You had Edgar Martinez. You had Jay Buhner. You had Paul Sorrento. Then on the mound, you had the wild thing himself, Randy Johnson. And I think even Kurt Schilling was on that team.
How did they not win a lot of World Series?
The speaking of that team, the third baseman for the Diamond Hoppers is from last year, is the son of the right fielder from that 97 Seattle Mariners team, Jay Buhner.
Wow.
So there is your league connection to tonight's baseball game, thanks to our statistician, the young fan and great employee here at the USPBL. Malik Blaze is up now. It's 1-0 on Blaze. He's 1 for 2 with a strikeout, a walk, and a single so far in this game.
Now, Johnson was not with the Mariners when he did this, but it is burned into my memory, and I like to bring it up on YouTube. But the time he drilled the bird.
Now we don't want you to change what you're doing on YouTube. We like where you're at if you're listening to us right now. However, open up a second tab between innings. Look up Randy Johnson bird, and you won't be disappointed.
No. It is 1 in a trillion, I might call that.
Unless you are that bird.
Yes.
Rest in peace to
Now,
that feathery fellow.
To date myself even further,
Okay.
I believe it was 1988, and
Good
I
year.
want to say Dave Carter, who played for the Blue Jays, threw a ball in from the outfield, actually at a bird.
Did he
hit
hit
it? And killed it, and he got arrested for animal cruelty.
Did he really?
They did jail him overnight.
Was this an away game? Do you remember? Or was this
No,
in
it was.
Toronto?
I think it was in Toronto.
Well, you know those Canadian police.
No. Hey.
Sticking with birds in baseball, one of my favorite players that I wish I'd gotten a chance to see pitch is Mark the Bird Fitterich, a former Tiger. I won a jersey from him as fan of the game once at Comerica Park, and he's always been a favorite of mine to watch in highlights. And this is a blast by Blaze way back to left field, and you can kiss that one goodnight. Deep into the woods in Utica, Malik Blaze doesn't have to blaze around these paths. He can saunter home. What a crush by Malik Blaze for the Utica Unicorns. Wow, Jeff.
That ball got out in a hurry.
I mean,
a real hurry.
Blaze knew that was gone the minute it left his bat. A 2-run shot for Blaze, and that increases the lead for the Unicorns to 7 runs. It's Unicorns 8, Diamond Hoppers 1. Well, time to regroup.
Special guest here in the broadcast booth, JJ, has joined us.
We are joined by JJ. His duties retrieving bats are over. He's retired to being the 3rd member of the broadcast team. He's being a good boy up here. 0-1 is the count now. Bases are now cleared here in the 8th, and it is an 8-1 Unicorn lead. Coley Curry looks at the 0-1 pitch, and he drives this one to right field. Not quite as deep, and he didn't have the jet stream straight out to left field like Malik Blaze did. And it's brought in by the right fielder for the Diamond Hoppers, and that is the 2nd out of the top of the 8th inning. Jeff, that ball, I mean, I've seen some long home runs hit here in the games that I've caught here at Jimmy John's Field. That might be the longest ball I've seen hit live here, and it just flew out of here.
That was probably the fastest ball I think I've seen leave a ballpark.
We've got number 8, Jimmy Latona, up next for the Utica Unicorns. He looks at ball number 1. Latona from Rochester, New York, as we mentioned earlier. His walk-up music is the Jay-Z hit New York.
He has scored 3 times today.
He's having a nice night. Oh, he's swinging for the fences there. About swung out of his shoes. 1-1 on Jimmy Latona. Latona's got some power. We mentioned it earlier. 7 home runs. Finished in the semifinals in the home run derby in the league. I think this is a kid that has a lot of upside. I like what he's done behind the plate. Obviously, Goodson felt very comfortable with him. There's the slurve in there from the pitcher for the Diamond Hoppers.
Let's see, it's a nice, cool night tonight. I do recall, though, going to Kansas City when it was 115.
115 was the heat index. Now, we had the best seats in the park.
That
by
might be
far
the most comfortable I've ever been at a baseball game.
We sat right in front of the fountains and left field, folks, and it cooled us off. It was beautiful, even though it was 115 degrees. Latona goes down on strikes. Dugan Darnell records a strikeout, but the Unicorns add 2 more, and after the top of the 8th, it is Unicorns 8, Eastside Diamond Hoppers 1.
And we're back from Jimmy John's Field for some bottom of the 8th action. We've got a new pitcher for the Unicorns. It's Bobby Camadas, the pride and joy of Oklahoma. Camadas is 3-1 and 10 innings pitched. He's got a 1.79 ERA, and his first pitch is outside for ball number 1. He faces Luke Johnson in his first at-bat. That's Camadas' first guy he faces, and there's strike number 1. 1-1 now on Johnson. Johnson's having a nice day so far. He's 1 for 1 with a couple walks and a single. He swings and misses at a ball that was outside. 1-2 the count against Luke Johnson. Jeff, it's a little bit chillier out there. Wind still blowing out. Threat of rain coming your way still overnight, I believe.
I believe so. I think the radar is not looking great. I don't want to say anything because the last time I did, it started to drizzle.
Absolutely.
But
don't
that
want to jinx it.
big American flag out there in the center field is really blowing around.
Absolutely. The 2-2 pitch on the way here to Johnson, just outside, 3-2. The count is full. Now we've got a big weekend of games before we get to championship weekend. Tomorrow night right here at Jimmy John's Field starting at 7:05, we got a matchup between the Westside Woolly Mammoths and the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. As Johnson stays alive, he fouls off the full count pitch. We're going to talk a little bit more about that game later on, but the Westside Woolly Mammoths have won 6 of their last 10, and the Beavers have won 2 straight. So we've got a couple of hot teams coming your way tomorrow. It is Friday night. There will be a fireworks spectacular following the game. I highly recommend, if you are looking for something to do on this holiday weekend, that you kick off your long weekend with us here at USPBL and Jimmy John's Field. The 3-2 pitch on the way once again from Luke Johnson after he fouled that last one off. Outside, he lost him. Camadas walks the first batter he faces. That's 1 on, nobody out. Here in the bottom of the 8th. Jeff, any big plans for the weekend?
We are actually talking about taking a trip to the Air Zoo on Saturday.
Is that out in Kalamazoo?
Out Portage, Kalamazoo area.
Nice.
It's actually Smithsonian affiliated.
Okay.
It looks really cool.
I've heard good things. I have family out that way that have been. Zachary Gray up now. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. That'll be great. The kids will love that.
They have a lot of flight simulators where they just put you in and you do what you got to do.
That's awesome.
I have a feeling we will be crashing into the ground quite a bit.
Ball 1 there to Zachary Gray, the Hamilton, Ohio native, who hits this one into shallow left field. On the run is the left fielder for the Unicorns. That is Elliott, who tracks it down for out number 1. Here in the bottom of the 8th. We are busy as usual. We're heading up. It's still wedding season for the Book family. We're headed out to Gaylord, Michigan for a family wedding. Looking forward to that. We're going to catch the home opener, not in Spartan Stadium, but with a lot of fellow Spartans tomorrow night in a nearby establishment in Gaylord. And we look forward to seeing what the Spartans can do against Tulsa as they kick off a season where the expectations seem to be rather low to start the offseason and have grown significantly over the last couple of weeks.
I am interested to see what they come up with on offense because it's been tough.
Brutal. It was hard to watch. There were games last year that just almost couldn't believe what you were watching on the field, especially with some veteran skilled players that had shown a lot in previous seasons. However, the defense that's coming back, I think, will be the greatest defense in Michigan State history, one of the best defenses in all the country this season, returning so many starters, 1 first-team All-American, a second-team All-American, 3 All-Big Ten selections. I mean, we're talking about guys that are going to be absolute studs, not just in college but at the next level too. And we talked about Comerica Park earlier, and it is Spartan night, I believe, at Comerica Park coming up this weekend on Saturday. So if you're not here, I hope you're watching baseball at Comerica, but we'd love to have you here with a great weekend leading up to the championship weekend next weekend at Jimmy John's Field. Oh, and Cole Perry smokes the 3-1 pitch over to third base. Relay back to first base is in time. That is another double play.
That was what I believe someone might call an atom ball, but
Wow.
he was prepared.
The Diamond Hoppers had no chance to get back to first base. That was impressive.
That was a great play by De La Cruz down there at third base.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a few moments. It's still Utica Unicorns 8, Eastside Diamond Hoppers 1. Thanks for tuning in. And we're back for the bottom of the 8th inning here at Jimmy John's Field, where we've got another new pitcher on the mound. It is lefty Rabone Martin pitching. Oh, sorry about that. Top of the 9th. I think I said bottom of the 8th. Oops. Sorry about that. I want to be on the broadcast for a little longer.
The more baseball, the better.
Absolutely. Rabone Martin.
He has 36 innings under his belt with a 3.96 ERA. But what's impressive is he has a curveball that he can vary the speeds on, ranging anywhere from 64 to 75 miles an hour, which is just kind of not fair.
Not for the batter, that is. The Unicorns have their work cut out for him. Rabone has pitched 36.1 innings so far this season. He's 1-2 with a 3.96 ERA. But that ability to change speeds with that curveball is pretty impressive. Dan Elliott up for the Utica Unicorns. He is ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. He's 1 for 3 with a single and a walk, also with a strikeout in this game. Takes a big cut at that one. Swing and a miss. 2-2 for Elliott, the Unicorn left fielder. The 2-2 pitch on the way by Martin. shows that off-speed stuff at 80 miles per hour. Started above the head of number 21, Elliott. Came down through the strike zone. He swung through nothing but air. And that's the first out for the Diamond Hoppers here in the 9th inning.
That was a swing of desperation and frustration.
Absolutely. I'm not sure he had his eyes open when he swung through that ball. Next up for the Utica Unicorns is number 2, Ashton Bardzell. Here in the top of the 9th, he looks at a 90-mile-per-hour fastball outside, low and away, 1-0. Bardzell is 1 for 2 with a 2 RBIs, and a walk tonight. The windup and the pitch. One hit hard over to shortstop. A nice play by the shortstop. Flip over to first. Can't make the scoop over at first. And Bardzell will be safe at first after the throw from the shortstop for the Diamond Hoppers is a little low.
It did look like he rushed that throw a bit.
Jelly had a little more time than he thought he did, and the ball went out of play, so he does get another base on that error. He'll move on to second base. Well, Jeff, what do you think so far? What do you think about this broadcasting thing? Would you do it again?
I would. This is bucket list stuff for you and I. I think we've both watched plenty of games and thought, I could do that. And then I've come down to earth and said, no, I couldn't. And I'm sure a lot of you out there probably agree with me.
Yeah, it's.
But this has been a blast.
It has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much to the USPBL. Thank you to Matthew Cripsey. Thank you to Andy and to Scott. And it's just been a blast. But we still have another half inning to broadcast, and we're going to take advantage of the fact that they gave us a microphone. It's 1-0 now on number 13, new to the game, John Setchwin. He looks at a fastball right down the center of the plate, 1-1. I don't have a whole lot on John here, but he's a right-handed batter.
This might be his debut.
This could be his debut. He's no stats on the young right-hander. Number 13, upward stance. Bat cocked slightly a little bit over the right shoulder. He looks at a ball outside. 3-1. Way ahead of the count here.
Stephen, I am the king of jinx, as you well know. So
I
don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
But where we stand right now puts the Unicorns in a good position heading into the playoffs. But as of right now, they are.
John Sequin, number 13 there, grounds over to first base. Flips over to the pitcher who's covering, and that will be the second out, but the runner will advance over to third base.
Mammoths are currently tied with the Unicorns, so that makes tomorrow night's game huge for the Mammoths to pull back in and pull back into a tie for first with the Unicorns. It's going to be an interesting week here in Utica at Jimmy John's Field as we watch this.
Absolutely.
But
it's not over yet, though, with a runner on third. Just 90 feet away as Jack Dennis, number 11, his first at bat tonight, looks to add to the Unicorn lead. He looks at a fastball high, 90 miles per hour. Dennis batting 136, no home runs with an RBI, 3 hits on the season.
The game seemingly out of reach. We're trying, it's like head coach Jim Messian is trying to get as many guys in the game as possible.
It's a smart move. See who's going to be ready to rock and roll for the next week's playoffs. Dennis from Illinois. Played for a D2 college called Tiffin. He's played all over the diamond. He's a utility guy. There's a ball that just hits the inside corner. It's 1-2 now on Jack Dennis. He's looking to be a solid defensive player for the Unicorns throughout the postseason run, a valuable asset with the glove. He did bat .293 at Tiffin during his college career, so he does have some offensive abilities. He fouls this one off into the pavilion section here at Jimmy John's Field along the left field line. 1-2, 2 outs. Top of the ninth, Jack Dennis in his first at bat tonight. At the plate. Runner on third.
Quite the race out of the left field lawn seats
Yeah.
to get that ball. Those kids went a long way.
A young fan out of Clinton Township went home with that one.
Nice area.
Ball inside, 2-2 now. 2-2, 2 outs. Runner on third. Still quite the smattering of fans here at USPBL. Jimmy John's Field, a very faithful crowd, as always here. Ball high against Jack Dennis, 3-2, full count. He's worked it full.
He's done a nice job.
Now, Ramon Martin, it seems like he's gotten away from the curveball a little bit, the one that we talked so highly of, and he's gone mostly fastball. And I hate to say it, but at 89, 90 miles per hour, if this is in the zone, I got to believe Dennis is going to rake it. And of course, he goes off speed with a 75-mile-per-hour curve.
I think he heard you.
Oh, man. Fouled off down the first baseline by Jack Dennis. So you've got the Mammoths. That's your team to ride next weekend. Is that what I heard earlier?
I do like them, mainly because of their logo, their mascot, but I really just like coming to watch baseball.
Yeah.
It's a great place to watch a game.
Oh, Dennis with what I thought was going to drop in, but a nice running grab by the left fielder for the Diamond Hoppers. Makes it on the run, records the third out, and Jeff, we're going to the bottom of the ninth. The Utica Unicorns 8, the Eastside Diamond Hoppers 1. Thanks for joining us, and please stick around for 3 more outs. And we are live for the bottom of the ninth here at Jimmy John's Field in historic Utica, Michigan, where we have a new pitcher on the mound. It is number 40, Nolan Clenny out of Novi, another hometown kid, just up the road about 30, 35 minutes. Sean Guida's the first batter he's going to face, and Guida's got a 1-1 count. Guida's 0 for 2 with a walk. He sees strike 2, 1-2 now on Sean Guida.
Clenny actually leads the league in saves with 7 this year.
Not a save situation here, but definitely good experience in a game that's maybe a little out of reach to the home team. Speaking of the home team, Guida gets hit by a ball too high and too inside. Hate to see that in the first batter you face as a closer. But are we too familiar with those types of antics being a Tigers fan over the last decade or so, right?
Whatever do you mean?
So the Diamond Hoppers are threatening. Nobody out, runner on first after the hit batter, Guida. Next up is number 7, Brant Broussard. He's having himself an okay game, 1 for 2 with a walk and a base hit.
You know, it is It is a difficult situation to be a closer in a game that is so far out of reach. You're used to coming in under very stressful situations, and so I'm sure having to come in and where it's not as stressful and more relaxed, it's probably, it's not as intense and maybe something you're not really ready for. You see lots of games where closers come in non-safe situations and struggle.
Jeff, it used to drive me crazy when Leland would bring out, it didn't matter who it was, whether it was, Joe Nathan or Fernando Rodney, Valverde, when he would bring them out in non-safe situations, especially a game like today late in the season. I get doing it here, getting a guy some experience. But it would always seem like the game would get a lot closer when the closers would come in.
All of a sudden, they would turn into a safe situation.
Right. Here's a ball hit decently well out to straightaway center field near the flag and the 395 sign. That's a long ways away. Broussard gave it a chance, but it's brought in by the Unicorn center fielder. One out here in the bottom of the ninth. One of your favorite songs by Rihanna playing as the walk-up music here, Jeff, for Jordan Wiley. That's your girl, right?
Sure.
The payoff pitch here to Wiley, who's 0 for 1. Runner on first. Takes a look at strike one, 92 mile per hour fastball.
Wiley came in for Hamilton in the 7th. Hit a nice little fly ball out to left.
He looks at the second pitch here, low and inside. Ball one. 1-1 on Wiley.
Wind definitely has shifted towards left.
Completely out to left, yeah.
Yep.
There's a strike against Wiley. It'll be 1-2 now with 1 out. Now, Nolan Clenny played at North Carolina State University. I mean, this is an ACC product that has got some good intangibles. And what a play there by the third baseman coming across the diamond, charging hard and throwing out the batter at first base. A great play.
Very great play. That is a tough play to make, running in on the ball like that to scoop it up and throw across your body as you're running at first base.
That was impressive.
Some athleticism.
I've been thoroughly impressed
by the third baseman.
The web gems today.
Perry. Oh, yes.
Beautiful.
The defense.
By both teams.
Yes. I mean, there have been errors, but the defensive plays have been pretty stellar.
Well, that means it's all up to number 19. That's Mr. Pat Adams for the Diamond Hoppers in tonight's game, trailing 8-1. Runner on second, 2 down, bottom of the ninth here at Jimmy John's Field. And Adams hits this one deep to left center field. Look out! That ball is long gone. Pat Adams with his 4th home run on the season. Wow, a 2-run blast. We're not done yet. What were we saying about closers in non-safe situations, Jeff? The Diamond Hoppers put up a 2 spot up on the board.
That ball just kept going. I thought the center fielder, Curry, had a beat on it. He looked like he had a beat on it, and I think that wind just pushed and pushed and pushed right off.
Tracking it, right?
Yep, right off the scoreboard.
Off the scoreboard in left center. That's a long ways away for those of you that can't see that. It's 395 out to right center. 315 to straightaway left. So a little shorter than 395, but still quite a ways away.
Adams has been responsible for knocking in all 3 of the Diamond Hopper runs tonight.
It is a solid player in the middle of the lineup for these guys that could be, it could be someone who helps the Diamond Hoppers go on a little bit of a run coming up here next weekend in championship weekend. 1-2 on Freddie Geely with 2 outs here in the bottom of the ninth. Bases are empty after the 2-run shot to left center. And that'll do it. Geely goes down on strikes. A nice off-speed pitch there by Nolan Clenny. And the Unicorns win it by a score of 8-3, Jeff. And I am thoroughly impressed by the baseball that we saw here in Utica. we get to hear the Unicorn fight song, and there is nothing better than seeing Lancelot dance to his fight song as the players in purple reign victorious. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an 8-3 victory, Unicorns over the Diamond Hoppers, and that changes up the standings a little bit going into the rest of the weekend. The Unicorns advance to 27-21 on the season, while the Diamond Hoppers fall to 16-29.
That gives Utica, as of right now, sole possession of first place. And if the season ended today, would launch them right into the championship game. Huge win for Utica.
That's huge. And as the young fans enter the field and make their way over to second base and on to third base, we've got some exciting games coming up here in the USPBL. What do we got tomorrow night, Jeff?
Tomorrow night we're going to see the Mammoths take on the Beavers. It is, once again, it's a big game for playoff position. It's a big game for the Mammoths, who want to get back in the first place to give them a shot at just getting right into the championship game. Westside has won 6 out of their last 10, so they have been on a pretty good streak. But Birmingham Bloomfield has won 2 straight and have split the last 6 meetings with the Mammoths. The last game, the Beavers won 7-2. But tomorrow is Top Hat Friday, and there will be the fireworks spectacular after the game, and hopefully during the game as well.
Excellent. And if you can't make it out tomorrow night, we've got another game here on Saturday. That is the Unicorns against the Mammoths. That's a game I would love to see. That's Military Appreciation Night here at the ballpark, so come and support the armed forces and give some support to the Unicorns and the Mammoths. And then we've got the last game of the regular season, which is the Beavers versus the Diamond Hoppers on Sunday. It's a 6:05 start. It's Fan Appreciation Night, Jeff. Fans can meet their favorite USPBL players before the game. Of course, this is sponsored by Imagine Entertainment, one of the premier sponsors for the USPBL. Well, Jeff, this has been fun.
This has been the best.
I'm going to take the bucket list out tonight, put a check mark by this, and hopefully we can do this again in the future.
Yes.
For those of you that were tuning in, thank you so much for putting up with us on this broadcast. Thank you to all who made this possible in the USPBL. And if you haven't got a chance to come out to see these guys this year, please do so this weekend or next. It's a lot of exciting baseball still to come here in Utica. For Mr. Jeff Webster, I'm Stephen Book signing off. Thank you so much for putting up with us tonight, folks. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend, and go USPBL.